back. Namaste. I know I say that a lot on this channel, but namaste means the light in me honors the light in you. And I remember when I was living in Brooklyn, New York, I learned about self-love and I became obsessed with it. I started doing my facials. I started buying like really expensive skincare products with money that I didn't have. New clothes. So my idea of self-love was so surface level. Let me take a bath. Let me get a facial. Let me pay for a spa day. I think in order to talk about self-love, we have to first answer the question, what is self? Who am I? What am I even loving? So a lot of us, we embark on this journey to self-love without knowing what the self is, without knowing who we are. And so we should actually call it body love. But then you start to overindulge in practices of taking care of the body to the point where you neglect the people around you. And life is about people. Life is not about things. Life is not about facials. Life is not about a spa day. Life is not about nice skin and nice clothes. These are all accessories that we get to have and that we get to use on this journey. But ultimately, the question that needs to be answered is, who am I? And I believe that with embarking on the journey to answering that question, you might agree with me that you should love others more than you love yourself. You should cherish others more than you cherish yourself. I struggled with being able to maintain healthy and loving and balanced relationships for so long. Meanwhile, I was practicing self-love. If you practice self-love, your environment will be a reflection of that love. But my environment was not a reflection of this so-called self-love. In fact, it was quite the contrary. The more I indulge in self-love or body love practices, the more conflict I had with the people around me. And placing so much attention on your body makes you start to identify yourself with your body. This body which will grow old, the tits will sag, the eyes will bag, yet somehow our sense of identity is so centered on this body. It's so centered on our emotions, which are always fluctuating. Most of our problems come from constantly seeking security for the body, worrying about the future, worrying about the past. A lot of our anxiety comes from worrying about ourselves. A lot of our depression comes from worrying about things that have happened to our sense of self. And it's valid to think about yourself. Of course, you shouldn't neglect your body, but overindulging in the security of the body, the security of preserving this thing that is really just aging. It really is just changing all the time, but we place so much attention on this that it becomes draining and it's fear-based. The secret to happiness is not in finding 101 ways to make yourself more secure, because it's actually a moving target and it's an illusion, this idea of security. The more security you try to strive for yourself in your body, the more you push others away, the more you have resistance towards anything or anyone that may challenge the sense of security. Happiness is in finding just one way to make one person happy every single day. Your joy and your happiness is actually a byproduct of honoring your environment, honoring the people around you, honoring your friends, honoring your family, right? Can you imagine? Imagine having so much self-love that you have no friends. Imagine having so much self-love that you're alone all the time. This isn't a practice of self-love. Life is about people. Life is about compassion for the people around us. Life is about honoring every single being, the difficult beings, the ones who make our life so hard but encourage us to grow. Life is about the neutral beings like the bus driver who takes you from point A to point B, or the Uber driver who drives you everywhere you need to go, the person who planted your food, the person who transported your food and actually got it to the supermarket, which we seldom think about these people, but our lives, it's possible for me to speak with you and to connect with you because of the person who built this microphone, because it's possible for me to be hydrated and healthy because of the person who made this tea. And then, of course, life is also about the people who we love so much, our friends, our sister, brother, uncles, family members. Life is about those people. Life is about connecting to those people so that we can see when we love them more than we love ourselves, we are in fact loving ourselves. Cherishing others is cherishing yourself. The less attention that you place on this superficial sense of self, the more happiness you will have, right? If you find out, please let me know if you find out the answer to this question. Not in a philosophical way, but if you truly find out what the self is, I imagine that we will spend so much time honoring every bird, every insect, every person that we meet, because we see that they are in fact nothing but a mirror and a reflection of our own being. You become happy by serving. Less attention is placed on yourself and all of your seemingly big problems. This planet Earth, how small it is compared to this entire cosmos, and let alone this body and this measly little self. When the moment you try to protect just this, you miss out on the possibility of experiencing so much more love. Self-love is fine. We handle that in the morning with our morning practice. This is why commitment is really important, right? Because if you don't have a morning practice, if you don't have a morning routine, then you will spend the whole day seemingly loving yourself by just constantly trying to maintain the anxiety, maintain the depression, maintain the imbalance. But when you take care of yourself in the morning, you pour into your own cup, then you can dedicate the rest of your day to serving, and all of that love that you give will come back to you in so many ways that you won't even imagine it. You won't even imagine. Cherish others more than you cherish yourself, and you will never have to live a day without love. Namaste.